Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for gathering together. And thank you also to a huge number of people that have put all this together to enable it to happen for you. This is our second commencement ceremony for our sixth form. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all and our guests as well. Thank you for some of our governors and also from the fire service here as well. My little bit is very short. This isn't about me. This is about you. And I'm delighted that we've actually got Tom here, who I'll introduce you in just a minute, who's studying medicine at St. George's in just a moment, who is our main speaker. And then, of course, our valedictorian speaker, it's taken me a whole year to learn how to say that, by the way, is Ben. We'll be hearing from him in just a moment. This is your ceremony as you're coming to the end of your A-level studies. And it's a time also to think back and think about the journey that you've been through and to where you've got to now. And the reason it's a commencement, it's an unadulterated Americanism, is because it's about commencing the next stage of your journey into your future. And all I want to say really is I want to say a huge thank you. Thank you for being such great students. You know, my biggest regret really is that I haven't got to know more of you better. Some of you I know well. So many I don't know as well I was really have liked to have done. It's sort of part of the job really, which is a great shame and a great pity. What I do know though is that how talented, I'm always so impressed how talented you people are. Whether you're great mathematicians or scientists or linguists or wonderful artists and dancers and musicians. And you know, when I was just putting this little bit together, I was thinking, this country really doesn't celebrate the arts enough, I don't think, really. And you know, we do need great doctors, great engineers, great historians, people who can speak languages and historians, but we need great artists as well. And it was only the last day or two I realized there's 6 of you, actually, who have got the chance of places at top dance conservatoires. And that is such an amazing achievement. It's just astounding. So I'm going to finish my bit off by saying, do celebrate what you're good at. Work hard as you complete your exams and move on to the next stage. And I've got a couple of quotations. One is from Francis of Assisi, who said, start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. I think that's true. And Ophelia in William Shakespeare's Hamlet said, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. And I think this is quite relevant at the moment, because what you may be is in your own hands. And I hope that you'll continue to grow and to flourish. And you know, life's precious, isn't it? It's really precious. And I think last Friday's accident on the zebra crossing demonstrated that so vividly to us all. I'm sure you know Hannah's undergoing several operations at the moment, and she is recovering, but it's going to take some time. But make the most of your start in life which you've had so far and what you've achieved so far. Work home, have fun. And from a dad, do phone home later on. Do phone home, for goodness sake. As a parent, you know, as you go off in your lives, wherever it is you're going to do, just let them know how you're getting on. That's all I'm going to say. It gives me great pleasure, though, to introduce Tom. As I said, he's in his final year of medical school at St. George's. And he was one of our first medical students to go on to become a doctor. And he was just telling me just now, actually, that he would have started there when you guys started year 7. It's amazing, isn't it? He says it's been he's been studying for like 150 years. He's almost at the end. And I just want to say a huge thank you, Tom, for taking the time to come down and to be with us. And I give you Tom Board.
When I was looking at speeches like this on YouTube, all of the speakers had their speeches in a little folder, so I've brought one with me today. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the kind welcome, Dr. Fish, or to use your full title, Sir Lord Dr. Terry Fish, Commander of the most glorious federation of the associated schools, academies and learning establishments of Christchurch. Protector of the peace, defender of the peoples, and keeper of the keys at Hogwarts. So, my name's Tom Board, and I suppose the first and most important thing to say is congratulations. This is a great occasion to celebrate your achievements, and I'm really happy to be here today to help you celebrate. So let's start by just giving yourselves a polite, measured round of applause. That's very nice. That was very nice. So, yes, I was here at Twynham from 2002 to 2009, and I'm currently studying medicine at St George's University of London, where I'm in my 5th year, my penultimate year. And I think my last year at Twynham was when you would have been in year 7, yeah. So I found that quite a bonkers thought, to be honest. And it feels to me as though that time has gone quite quickly. But perhaps it feels like it's been a bit longer to you. I don't know. But then time is a very difficult concept, and really, life is just one long queue outside of Londis, and we're all just waiting to get inside and grab a sausage roll and an ice pop. So yes, whilst you've been busy basically doing all of school, I've been plodding through my degree, and I suppose what I'd like to share with you today is some thoughts about my time at Twynham, about this really exciting time that is ahead of you, and how the two link together. And I want to do that in a convincing way, but without sounding like too much of a patronising dweeb. So for me, Twynham was about looking forward to a gap year and to uni, but obviously there are a lot of different paths that you can take now that you're leaving sixth form. So whatever it's going to be that you're doing next year, it's going to be new, and there are going to be a ton of opportunities that have been presented to you that you haven't had before. And that was exactly what happened to you when you started at Twynham, at whatever stage you came. And when I was here, it always felt like I was being encouraged to make the most of the opportunities that were being offered to me. And this was the case for the sports, music, drama, as well as all the academic opportunities that presented themselves. And that was probably one of the best things about my time here, because when it came to leaving sixth form, it meant that I was open and ready for these new opportunities, because that had already been encouraged and developed in me whilst I was here. And so you've all come here for the qualifications that sixth form offers, but when it comes to the next step in life, they're only going to get you through the door. And what happens after that depends on you. Not you personally, madam, but it's like a wider you. It's a wider you. So thus, my first thought of my first offering to you is to find things to be passionate and excited about and to do them. Get passionate and excited about the films you're going to watch, the books you're going to read, the people you're going to meet, the modules you're going to choose, the music you're going to listen to, and the people you're going to meet. It's twice as important as the others. I'm not saying this isn't already the case, because you're all clearly highly motivated, highly intelligent people, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But I think perhaps I made the mistake of thinking I'd finished all those sorts of things because I was going on a gap year and I'd read the first 2.5 chapters of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's all too easy to limit yourself by thinking that you aren't talented or important enough to do some things, or that you're too important and talented to do some other things. So my example of this is a project that I did in my 3rd year. And I will share this sad/funny/happy anecdote with you now. So my 3rd year was a research year. It was a year where you take out medicine and you do an extra degree in which you do some research. And I had requested a project surrounding people with mental health problems and their access to legal services. A very interesting topic, I'm sure you'll agree. And it was great. I was reading lots. I was getting lots of really good information. And by Christmas, I had what I thought was an incredible start to what would inevitably be a groundbreaking piece of research in the field. However, after Christmas, I got the news that actually I hadn't been granted ethical approval. And that was quite a blow, as it meant that we wouldn't be able to carry on the project. So all the work that I had done was wasted. And I was probably going to be arrested by the science police. The science police don't really exist. But I felt like it would be an interesting twist for the narrative of my anecdote. So after a brief 3-day sentence in science prison, I was allocated a different project, auditing a screening service. At this point, the anecdote goes from bad to worse, because, as we all understand, the words screening and auditing are two of the most boring words in the English language. My heart sank when I thought of the wasted hours past and the many boring, tedious hours ahead. So basically, I came very close to taking the stuff I'd done before Christmas to another tutor and seeing if there was anything I could still do with it. In fact, there was a fellow student, let's call her Jess, and she had been working on the project with me, and she did take her work to another tutor where she wouldn't need ethical approval, and she said, Tom, come with this tutor and carry on the work that you've started, and you wouldn't have to start again. So I didn't do that. I decided to start the new project. And I thought it was going to be really rubbish, but it ended up being really good. I really enjoyed it. And it was so good, in fact, that I continued working on it after I'd handed it in. And a couple of years later, I submitted it to a real-life scientific journal for publication, and it got accepted. Hooray! And this is one of my proudest achievements, and it came about from a circumstance that I could have very easily ditched, and I would have missed what turned out to be a very valuable opportunity. It should really be mentioned that Jess, who continued the original project, now has a book deal, a television program, and she's currently giving a Year 13 commencement speech in the Bahamas. But I will try not to get too jealous of her for now. So, anyway, the point of that anecdote was to say that you can't really tell whether cool and interesting and fun things are going to come. So you've just got to go with it and take the opportunities as they come to you, and try your best and work hard, and eventually things will come off. And also that all the opportunities that I experienced whilst I was here made me open to those that came along at university. It was also an anecdote about luck. I was really lucky that I had a tutor who was interested enough in the topic to take it further, and I was lucky that the journal was interested in the topic as well. But fortunately, my time at Twynham prepared me for this as well. These lucky set of circumstances came about during the auditions for the musical that was being put on when I was in Year 13. Guys and Dolls. Some of you may remember it. Yeah. It was very widely well received. So anyway, this is another sad / funny / happy anecdote. I hope you'll enjoy it. So the audition had been going well as far as the talking was concerned. My accent was on point, and I looked great in a trilby hat. However, nothing could prepare me for what was to follow. The singing audition. I am by no means a trained vocalist. My voice is by no means pleasant to the ear. So when the honourable gentleman sat over there, Mr. Kevin Cook, sat down at the piano, I was filled with trepidation. Mr. Cook began to play very daintily through a simple tune, which I believe was entitled The G Major Scale. And I started to sing along. Do you remember this? That's good. Oh dear, said Mr. Cook. Let's try that again, shall we? And we tried. We tried and tried. Oh dear, said Mr. Cook, exchanging a knowing glance with the other assembled members of the Cape Department. He then proceeded to utter, "We'll have to rethink that one," and took a large marker pen from his pocket and visibly crossed something out on his clipboard, which I can only assume had been my name. Anyway, it turns out that because of my lack of singing ability, there are actually very few places that I could fit in the cast, and I ended up getting a better part than the one I auditioned for. Great. So this is basically another way of me trying to convince you that good things come in unexpected ways, and you only get to experience these things if you put yourself forwards and if you back yourselves, and if you say, yes, I'm going to be able to do this. This is going to be great. And that's going to be so important in your next step. When you're meeting all these new people, all these things are presented to you, you have to be able to say, yes, here I am. I'm going to make their dreams come true, or something like that. So another thing that Twynham gave me was a number of really good friends. And I've known them now for a long time. And when I came to write this speech, I got to thinking about why we've remained such good friends. And, I was thinking back, and I remembered the cold and rainy nights huddled in a tent on Dartmoor, laughing at one another's impressions of Peter Kay. I remembered the music tours, playing Beatles songs and prancing around with umbrellas in front of bemused Europeans. And I recalled the time my friend Doug came to my space-themed birthday party dressed as the Higgs boson particle. No one's ever seen the Higgs boson particle, but it was a truly awesome sight to behold when Doug envisaged it before us. If you find me afterwards, I'll explain how he managed it. But it wasn't any of these memories that made our friendship so special. No. It was the more sudden realization that, for me, it was now too late to make any more childhood friends. I am stuck with the ones that I've got. So in that spirit, I want to do something that, according to YouTube, is another essential part of any form of American-style graduation ceremony, and I would like you please all to look around at each other. Actively look each other in the eyes. Keep going. Look each other in the eyes and know this is it. These people make up the ones that you went to sixth form with. And some of them, you may have been together for your whole of your secondary education. And you are now stuck with each other in a beautiful and not entirely consensual bond of memories and shared experiences. And you won't be able to say that about any other people ever again. So it's important for you to look out for each other, to try to stay in touch as best you can, and to be nice to each other, because one day in the future, you're going to need some people who knew you today to tell you how great you are, and also to tell you what a knob you are. And that's very important. So there are those are the useful things that some of the useful things that I took with me from Twynham forwards. And they are, take the opportunities that come to you. Don't worry if they come at you in a way that is unexpected, and be nice to your friends. That and how to use a list of 3 to create a persuasive argument. So, as a final point, these are the characteristics that I think are going to stay with me. And standing here now, I'm almost at a big frontier in my own life. Like you, exams permitting, I am going to be taking my next steps into a career as a doctor. And, yes, after my next year at university, exams permitting. And I know that there are going to be challenges and experiences awaiting me, but I feel confident that I've learned the skills, that we've all learned the skills, so that we can face these challenges and experiences and to have a successful and fun time. So congratulations to you all. I wish you all the very best in your next steps in life, whatever they are, and thanks very much for listening.
behalf of the students, staff and guests, can I thank you, Tom, for encouraging us through your speech. I'd like to emphasise his list of 3 and add to it that we will get there. It is very stressful periods for us all right now, but where we want to be with hard work, we will all get there. It now falls upon me to introduce the next part of our celebrations today. The Fireman's Award is to give each year to the student who has made the most significant contribution to the community. To explain the award, can you please welcome District Divisional Officer Stuart Jennison.
Hi, everybody. Like Tom, I've been watching the same video clip, so thank you. The trophy that we're about to award commemorates 2 firefighters, David Gregory and Graham White, who lost their lives while serving their local community of Christchurch during the Great Storms of October the 15th, 1987. It's therefore a very special award to not only the firefighters at Christchurch, but all firefighters throughout the county, and certainly our ex-firefighters as well. Charlotte Cordroy. We've nominated this award for Charlotte as we feel she deserves recognition for all that she's been involved with in her local community, at school and internationally. Charlotte's long-term ambition is to become a doctor. Over to you, Tom. From an early age, Charlotte knew that her pathway in life should aim to help avoid suffering in others. She's played a number of key roles in supporting others over the years. Her involvement in supporting younger children through volunteering at Brownies, church activities in the community, and also helping to lead Sunday school. Charlotte has found the time to volunteer at a local residential home. She's also worked as part of the Student Council and become an emerging student voice over the years. This role has allowed her the opportunity to work on a number of projects, including the Eco Schools bid and solar energy project and many others. Charlotte has worked hard for people in her own community of Christchurch and also volunteered and working with the charity UYO in Uganda. Charlotte is not able only to encourage her in her own community, but is able to teach disadvantaged children in Uganda, help with building and construction projects, and also bring her love of sport to a wider international audience. So to Charlotte, well done. You wholeheartedly deserve this very special award.
So first of all, a big thank you to Stuart for coming down, and congratulations, Charlotte, well done. So the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the time where we hand over to our valedictorian speaker, and this is a tradition that is given to the top academic student within the year. So without no further ado, Ben Goddard-Fletcher.
Come on, I'm only a man. Now I don't have a folder, but I'll try anyway. I've got a dry mouth, so just give me a second. How the flip did we get here? My time at Twynham feels like it has passed so quickly. Memories of the last 2 years feel so long ago, and yet also so close at the same time. It feels like only yesterday, Dan Griffiths and I were helping Mr. Brown pack down the gazebo after the barbecue ended, but it feels like a lifetime ago since Jacob Perrins came to me after my last day at Ringwood, shook my hand, and with a considerable amount of enthusiasm said, "Welcome to Twynham." And I feel that both of these occasions have summarised my journey here. You guys have been accepting and supportive of me, and I hope that I've been accepting and supportive of you guys individually. It wasn't easy leaving Ringwood, leaving the friendships I'd made during my 5 years there, most of whom I still haven't met up with. But just thought I'd say that. But big up to Nia and Nicole who came with me. But you know,
leaving the friendships I had made, in all seriousness, to come here not knowing what the future would hold was difficult. But I guess it wasn't... Sorry, this is really irritating. But I guess it wasn't much different for you guys who were already at Twynham, because your friends left, the teachers suddenly became a lot friendlier to you since you were now in the sixth form, and the TM, the Twynham Mafia, disbanded. Can't believe it. I really wanted to join. Such a shame. Man. Sorry. Thank you. That's not all. I remember coming to the induction day and going paintballing. And apart from the occasional time where I would break out into song from High School Musical, I stuck closely to Daniel Griffiths and met his friends. And we talked a substantial amount about Doctor Who and other sci-fi related things, because I'm a nerd like that. But I also remember going to Soul Survivor with Joe Cook, Jake and Jess Wright the summer before. And as we were walking through Big Top, Joe said, "Would you rather be a baghead or some other word," which I absolutely cannot remember. And I did not know what any of those words mean. I'm fairly certain I still don't know what baghead means. Because I'm a nerd like that. But I see a truth that both of these events... Sorry, I'm just going to take this off. Right. But I see a truth that both of these events depict. It's that the Twynham community is so diverse. But it is exactly that diversity which makes us stronger. It challenges our attitudes, our opinions, and our viewpoints, so that we become people who have attitudes, opinions, and viewpoints, but who are hopefully respectful of these differences and loving in spite of them. And since the moment we started here, we've had many opportunities to grow together. Freshers Party 2K13, where James Hughes got I'm looking at you, got completely off his nut and couldn't remember a thing. Sorry. At least you didn't come dressed as a woman. So, inside joke, sorry. The ski trip, AS exams results day, the Freshers Party 2K14, where James Hughes got completely off his nut again. He went outside, begged Carol to let him back in. She wouldn't. Good choice. Good choice. The Uganda trip, biology A2 coursework, every single project. You missed out, guys. That's all I'm saying. And I did want to make a special notice for how many times Jacob Parents has sung for us. At the Winter Ball 2014, Sweet Charity, all of the projects, the social justice evening, and when Caleb Meekins came. So that's 5 times, just if you weren't counting. And these big events can act as catalysts, introducing us to new people. But it is during the everyday, normal events in which we truly grow closer together. When I sat talking to George Coley about binary and how cameras work for 25 minutes, when me and Ben Watts just went walking through room 12 into room 11 and back out and kept on going around in a circle for like 10 minutes, and when I told Miss Ruback I wanted to be a Christian rapper and she laughed at me, so... And every single time I went out for Subway with you guys, how could I forget that? But personally, I feel that over the course of this year, some of the people I've grown to know the closest are James Hughes, Sam Honeyman, and Annabelle Peacock, as well as Charlotte Cordery, Johnny Crisp, and Anna Bean, the medics on tour. You see, one of them... I'm not finished. What are you doing? I'm like halfway through, okay? So if you want to go to the toilet, I've got a bottle. I'm not lying, I'm genuinely like halfway through. You see, one of the main reasons I came to Twynham, besides being 15 miles closer to me than Ringwood and the rumours of the Great CU, is because on the open evening, Dr. Fish did a great job of publicising that he ran a support group for medics. And I wanted to become a doctor, so I came along to the first meeting, and there was like 14 of us, which is quite a lot. And if I'm honest, I felt intimidated because I knew competition for medicine was tough. And there I am, one among many who would be fighting out to study medicine, and I did not know a thing about these guys. But in true Hunger Games style, we trained together and got to know each other. And as the numbers sadly dwindled down to just us 7 remain, we grew even closer. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but each time someone else got rejected, my heart broke because we were that close. And when James got his interview for Nottingham, and when Charlotte got her interview for Cardiff, I was so happy. And I'd just like to say great congratulations to Bean. I can't see you. Where are you? There you are. Congratulations for getting into Durham. You worked really hard for that. Yeah. And as I was sat at the top of my stairs writing this speech, I thought, this is a real community. You know, it says in the Bible in Romans 12, verse 15, rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. And this means sharing each other's burdens in the hard times, but lifting each other up in the good ones. And for those of you who don't know, I'd be sincerely surprised if you didn't. I'm a Christian. And I go to Cranley Community Church, and our church has a motto. And that is love God, love people, and share the journey. And that's what community is. It's sharing the journey. You know, spending time with others, revising together, procrastinating together, having races around the tables in room 11 on the spinny chairs with Sam Honeyman, talking about film and TV and maths, trying to integrate with the year 12s in tutor time and relatively succeeding, then trying to encourage the year 13s to do it and absolutely failing. Whatever we're doing it with others. You see, when Dave asked me if I'd like to do this speech, he said that it was to be a reflective talk about the journey. And I said I'd do it, because I like the publicity. But internally I was thinking, what on earth am I going to talk about? What is the journey? A journey is how you get to where you're going, your destination. And we'll all have different destinations. It might be going to university to study dance or medicine. It might be going into employment or into an apprenticeship, or maybe you have no clue what you're going to do next year. But Dave wanted me to ask, what has Twynham taught us about what comes next? What values have we seen that we can apply to our lives regardless of where we will go or what we will do? For me, I would say that as difficult as it can be sometimes, it's to make time for people. It's to let people in, cherish the time that they're with you, and appreciate them when they're gone. I'd just like to give out some personal thanks now to Mr. Doyle. There you are. I have no clue why I was put in a language tutor when I'm studying mostly science and maths at all, but I don't regret it. Thanks for encouraging us to be real good people. To my subject teachers, thank you for getting me through the course, for the good banter we've had. To Dr. Fish, thank you for helping us tackle the medicine game. To Dave Cook, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this speech and to wear this robe. I feel like I should be in the Priory right now, ringing the bells. And a personal one to me is to my main man upstairs, Jesus Christ, for never giving up on me and always being with me. You know, at the start of this talk, I asked the question, how the flip did we get here? I think the answer is together. So thank you, Twynham Sixth Form, for having me. And thank you guys, my friends, for embracing me. I hope that you all have great futures as you move on to the next phase of the journey of life. God bless. Wait. Come to the project.